think the ride and the simplicity of the concept. Person gets a phone call, says he has 88 minutes to live. It's pretty easy to follow.
You have 88 minutes to live.
What?
You know how long 88 minutes can be, don't you?
In this case, what interested me about it was less the fast pace than of shooting a movie from a kind of paranoid point of view. It was a little different than anything I had directed. So it'd be kind of interesting to work with Al. I wasn't sure whether our personalities would click or clash. What was nice in working with Al was that I think we hit it off pretty quickly. And I think on a certain level, it was obvious he had a lot to offer. And I think to him, it was obvious that I knew what I was doing.
Keep up with that with the dollars.
To me, Al may be the best working actor in the film business today. And in this case, the guts of the movie is not the plot, it's his character.
In my professional opinion as a forensic psychiatrist, John Foster is a serial murderer.
Pacino plays a forensic psychiatrist, someone who's called upon as an expert witness in legal proceedings in a courtroom to determine whether a person is legally sane or legally insane. He's also a psychiatrist, and he has a private practice as well, and he teaches graduate students in forensic psychiatry as people who work in his office as well.
We say thanks for making our lives miserable.
The pleasure is all mine.
The character that Al plays is a professional paranoid. I mean, imagine for anyone, whatever you might consider normal, to be thrust into a world where you're meeting people who have committed some of the most horrific and egregious crimes against humanity. And the one similarity that all these serial killers seem to have is that they pass. That when they're caught, what does everyone say about them? Oh, they were so normal, he was such a nice guy. Not only does he have to be able to see these things in people, he has to be able to explain them. Not only does he have to be able to explain them, he often has to be able to recreate a crime scene and combine imagination with evidence to make a convincing description of what happens.
Oh, man, how the hell do I know what you're capable of? What did I do, Frank? Did I send myself a tape?
The most important event in Al's character's life is what has basically determined his character. He's a haunted person, and like many people, he's a victim. And he has a great deal of compassion for victims because he is one as well. The question for all victims is, can you recuperate? And the answer is a very complicated one for most people. It's kind of miraculous when you see it. In particular, I spent time with victims of the Holocaust who had survived, and to see the kind of fruitful lives that they had enjoyed after such horrors is something that's really difficult for most people to comprehend. And in most cases, you could see scars, but many of these people were quite capable of experiencing joy and maybe in some ways appreciated life more than people who hadn't gone through such a traumatic experience.
Give these people's families closure, man. Give them closure. You're on national television now. Millions of people are watching you.
A lot of what the film is about on an emotional level is what do you do? And what kind of person do you become? How do you compensate? How do you react to? How do you live through an event that traumatizes your life, that changes it? So that's the world that Al Pacino's character, Dr. Jack Graham, lives in, and that's the world we enter when this man who lives in a paranoid world gets what? A phone call saying he has 88 minutes to live. So what's his reaction going to be? He's got to figure out who the hell made that phone call, and is it real or not? And we find out quite soon, as he does, that it is real.
Is it possible Forrester is innocent?
No.
No DNA, no murder weapon. Her testimony was very convincing.
The way I like to work is I will not rehearse the scenes that much, but I really work on the character with the actors. I try to create experiences before you go off and shoot, so they have some places of solidity for the character. In the best of all worlds, I'd like to have a point here and a point here and the unknown here. So obviously that was part of what makes Al such an exciting partner in an adventure like this.
Where are you going in such a hurry, Jack?
Can't you see this as a frame?
Just give me some time, okay? Okay, I can untangle this.
That nervousness, the edginess, and the unknown, because I think the art of directing on film, if possible, is to allow the actors to have a moment of discovery on camera, and to have the camera where the moment of discovery is actually revealed. And sometimes it's doing nothing, literally. Often it's getting out of the way.
There's a window. Yeah. You want to try one more there?
I'm going to just try one more. Good job.
And I knew going in this was going to be a relatively low-budget film, so it wasn't a surprise. I accepted the challenge going in, and I thought, you know, hopefully necessity will be the mother of my invention. So whatever it is, it is. For me, I will do whatever it takes to get what I want. If it's not getting there, I will stoop to anything, and I'm fairly resourceful, and I'm sure most of the actors will attest to a combination of resourcefulness and the fact that I don't tire easily. I'm pretty tenacious about that stuff. What I do is I try to get the page to fit the actor, and you know, I tend to let an actor do virtually anything they want in the hopes of finding something. If it's good, I go with it. If not, I go with what I want. I mean, some of it has some really virtuoso filmmaking, but more often than not, it's just good words and great performances.
How does it feel to know you won't live through another night? 56 minutes.
I'll find you. You hear that, you son of a bitch?
As Lucas said, I was interviewing him at the AFI before he got the Life Achievement Award. And he said anybody can direct a movie. The question is, can they direct it with a certain amount of money and a certain amount of time, you know, with limits. So in this case, there were definite limits, and I accepted them up front.
Tick-tock, Doc. You have 83 minutes to live, Dr. Graham.
Hopefully, when you see the film, you don't see the limits. You see the film.
Tick-tock, Doc.
Tick-tock. You got 12 hours to live.